So, I know what you're thinking. We're in the black. You didn't think we would review this movie, but we had always intended on it. And in the end, it is alright. I have to say, I mean, it's okay. But definitely not a great movie. So, I mean, I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'd always intended on reviewing this movie. But was I really looking forward to it? No. Were any of us? I'm sure a couple of us were, but I honestly was not. When I bought my... Okay, put it like this. I expected this movie to not be that good, so much to the point where I only bought a ticket this afternoon and just went to see it. I hadn't planned on watching it, okay? But I always did. I mean, I wanted to review it, but I was kind of on and off about it just because I knew that it wasn't going to be a... I mean, it's not going to be a great adaptation of Venom, because Venom, the best part of Venom is that he is the one of Spider-Man's ultimate enemies, and there is no Spider-Man in this movie. Is Spider-Man even in this universe that Venom takes place in? I don't know. Anyway, Tom Hardy is playing Eddie Brock in this movie. As anyone who's seen the trailer knows, if you're watching this review, you would know that Tom Hardy's playing Eddie Brock. And I gotta say, this okay, put Eddie Brock aside, okay, for a minute. Tom Hardy's performance, just his performance, doesn't matter whether he's what the character that he's playing, just his performance in this started out alright. It was alright, okay? But as the movie progresses, even without him being Venom, Eddie Brock, or his performance for this character, just was weird. It just, I don't know, he got really awkward. I mean, there's a scene with him and his girlfriend outside the front of her place. And I don't know, he just seemed, I don't know, this isn't really a role Tom Hardy would take. I mean, it just doesn't feel like he's trying, and if he is, I think he's trying too hard. I don't know. Tom Hardy is best served in other movies and other roles. This role just doesn't suit him, and I honestly think that this was just a paycheck for him and Sony, really. Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but I thought this, given it being a Venom solo film, a Venom spin-off movie, I thought this was going to be more horror inspired. Because Venom, even when you see him in a Spider-Man movie or cartoon or whatever, or a comic book, he's a very horrifying character. I mean, with the teeth and the face and the tongue and all that, he's if you are going to make a spin-off movie about him, one of the best ways you could do that is by making it into a horror movie. And I thought this was going to be like that based off of the trailers and the tone that I thought we were told it was going to be like. But when I was watching this movie, I don't know, it lacked in horror, but instead amplified in I don't know if amplified, if that's the best word to use, but this movie used more comedy than horror. There was only a few moments that I could really point out and say that's horror. But when it came to the comedy, there was comedy all over the place, and it felt like it was following the Marvel formula, because this is a stupid thing that Sony has done. When you watch a Marvel movie that isn't in the MCU, it doesn't have the MCU introduction that the movies do, right? The Avengers and all that. So when you watch, say, X-Men, it has a Marvel intro, but it's not, it's a different intro. It just says Marvel, right? And that means that the company that is making this movie is making it outside of the MCU, outside of Marvel Studios, with them not producing it or whatever. So therefore it doesn't take place in the MCU. It's a very, very simple concept. But what Sony has done with this movie, which honestly just fucking confuses me, it says in association with Marvel. I've never seen that in a Marvel property film before. Um, how did I get stuck on the intro? Sorry, I just went on a complete tangent there because that one little thing annoys the shit out of me. That Sony really wants this to be in the MCU, but Marvel Studios won't allow it. So the only thing Sony can fucking do is say in association with. Anyway, I thought this movie could have really benefited more from tipping onto a more horror tone. And it does try to do that in small parts, but overall, it just follows the same formula as a MCU blockbuster. So, in continuation, for my negatives of this film, which are some pretty big ones, and this is probably the biggest, the villain. First of all, why does Venom, I don't know what's going on with my English tonight, why does Venom have a villain? I don't know too much about Spider-Man. I mean, all I know about Spider-Man lore is what I've seen on TV, alright? I don't read the comics. And I know that Carnage, I think, is Spider-Man's villain. Or Venom's villain. I don't know, because it's never been in any TV adaptation that I have seen, okay? But the setup for this villain in this movie was complete and utter shit, okay? I'm gonna get into slight spoiler territory here, so if by any chance you actually are looking forward to this movie and do want to see it, okay, then, I don't know, might as well tune out now to save yourself from the spoilers, but official spoiler banner now, okay, the boss of this company, right, walks out into his building and starts asking people where they are. Hello, is anyone there? You know, that type of thing. And I don't know, that's something that you do in a horror movie, and that's one of the horror aspects in this movie. And then a little girl who is possessed by one of the other symbiotes, the symbiote transfers itself over to him. That does not make any sense, okay? I can handle the dick boss becoming the main villain of the movie, but how the movie does it? Like, the last scene that we saw the boss of this company in, the last scene that he was in, he was walking around telling people what to do in the same building. He was being a boss, a dick boss, right? So how does he go from that to then walking around in the same building that he owns, that he is the boss of, going, is anyone there? How do we get from there to there? That's the stupidity, okay? There are some really stupid moments in this movie, and that's the level of stupidity that we're at with those moments. Also, there's another stupid moment where Venom was attacking some police. Interesting scene. I mean, it was cool action scene. That's what Venom is. He's evil, okay? But he throws a guy off a balcony, right? And the sound that they chose was the old Star Wars sound effect. Ah! Yeah, that one. In a Venom movie. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Like, why? Okay, so do I have a positive for this movie? Well, the only positive that I have is that you can watch this movie and watch it. It's watchable, okay? You can have some sort of enjoyment with it, okay? Like, if you're a Spider-Man fan and you know as much as you can about Venom, like I did when I was watching the movie, there will be that one moment, I guess, that you might like. Like, for me, the one moment that I liked was when Eddie and Venom finally agreed and teamed up to do something, right? Because the entire movie, they're not agreeing, okay? So I did like that moment where they're agreed, where they're teaming up, where they're going after the bad guy, which, I don't know. The fact that they have a bad guy, like, what? Anyway, so that's really the only positive with this movie, is that you can watch it and be fine with it, okay? But am I actually going to buy this? Am I going to want to watch this again? No, I don't. Because this is not a proper adaptation of Venom. And I'm not one of those people that that say it, you know, that it has to be like the comics. Venom has to be with Peter, but this is not. This is just not a good movie. Okay, it's not a good film, and it's not a good adaptation of Venom. Anyway, that's all I got for this movie. I really wasn't looking forward to it, and now that I've seen the movie, my reason for not looking forward to it is valid, okay? I knew this would not be a good movie. I mean, if anyone was looking forward to this, then I'm sorry, you would probably be disappointed. Anyway, I will see you in my next review. I'll tell you what I am excited for, though. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That actually looks like a good, Spider-Man movie. I don't know. Anyway, we will see you in the next video.